हेलो किड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल रेडी टू लर्न विद पूजा मैम। आज के हमारे वीडियो का जो टॉपिक है वो है A to Z एनिमल्स नेम। यहाँ हम आपको बहुत सारे एनिमल्स के पिक्चर्स दिखाएंगे, उनके नेम बताएंगे और उनकी स्पेलिंग भी दिखाएंगे। तो बने रहिएगा वीडियो में एंड तक मेरे साथ। अब हम अपनी वीडियो स्टार्ट करते हैं। हमारी फर्स्ट पिक आई है A is for alligator। एलिगेटर ALLIGATOR alligator. That is an alligator. alligator से पहले हमने an वॉवल की वजह से यूज़ करा है, तो इसलिए यहाँ पर सेंटेंस बन रहा है that is an alligator. The next letter is B. B. B is for bear. 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 That is a bear. That is a bear. Bear means bhalu. The next letter is C. C. C is for cat. 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 That is a cat. Cat means billy. That is a cat. The next letter is D. D. D is for dog. 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 That is a dog. Dog means kutta. That is a dog. The next letter is E. E. E is for elephant. 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 That is an elephant. यहाँ पर E वॉबल है, इसलिए हमने एलिफेंट से पहले N का यूज़ करा है। एलिफेंट मीन्स हाथी। That is an elephant. Letter F. F. F is for fish. 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 That is a fish. Fish means machli. That is a fish. The next letter is G. G. G is for giraffe. 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 That is a giraffe. Giraffe means giraffe. That is a giraffe. The next letter is H. H. H is for hen. 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 That is a hen. Hen means murgi. That is a hen. The next letter is I. I. I is for iguana. 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 That is an iguana. Iguana से पहले हमने N का यूज़ करा है क्योंकि I हमारा वॉवल लेटर है। तो सेंटेंस बनता है That is an iguana. Iguana means गिरगिट. The next letter is J. J. J is for jellyfish. 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 SH, jellyfish. That is a jellyfish. That is a jellyfish. The next letter is K. K. K is for kangaroo. 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 That is a kangaroo. Kangaroo means kangaroo. Sentence बना that is a kangaroo. The next letter is L. L. L is for lion. 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 That is a lion. Lion means sher. That is a lion. The next letter is M. M. M is for monkey. 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 That is a monkey. Monkey means bandar. That is a monkey. The next letter is N. N. N is for Nyla. Nyla. NYALA. Nyla. That is a Nyla. That is a Nyla. Nyla means धारीदार हिरन. That is a Nyla. The next letter is O. O. O is for an owl. 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 That is an owl. Owl means उल्लू. तो सेंटेंस बनता है that is an owl. Owl से पहले हमने n का यूज़ करा है क्योंकि ओ लेटर हमारा वॉवेल है. तो सेंटेंस बना है, दोबारा देखिए, that is an owl. The next letter is P. P. P is for pig. 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 That is a pig. Pig means sewer. That is a pig. The next letter is Q. Q. Q is for quail. 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 That is a quail. That is a quail. The next letter is R. R. R is for rabbit. 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 That is a rabbit. Rabbit means खरगोश. That is a rabbit. The next letter is S. S. S is for snake. 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 That is a snake. Snake. Snake means सांप. That is a snake. The next letter is T. T. T is for turtle. 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 That is a turtle. Turtle means कछुआ. That is a turtle. The next letter is U. U. U is for an urchin. Urchin. U-R-C-H-I-N. Urchin. That is an urchin. यहाँ पर हमने अर्चिन से पहले एन का यूज़ करा है क्योंकि लेटर यू इज़ अ वॉवेल। तो सेंटेंस बनेगा दैट इज़ एन अर्चिन। द नेक्स्ट लेटर इज़ वी। वी। वी इज़ फॉर vulture. Vulture. V-A-L-T-U-R-E. Vulture. That is a vulture. Vulture means gidh. Make a sentence. That is a vulture. The next letter is W. W. W is for whale. Whale. W-H-A-L-E. Whale. That is a whale. Whale means whale मछली. That is a whale. The next letter is X. X. X is for xerus. Xerus. X-E-R-U-X. Xerus. That is a xerus. That is a xerus. The next letter is Y. Y. Y is for yak. Yak. Y-A-K. Yak. That is a yak. Yak means yak. That is a yak. The next letter is Z. Z. Z is for zebra. Zebra. Z-E-B-R-A. Zebra. That is a zebra. Zebra means zebra. That is a zebra. So kids, आपने देखा और सुना, ये थे हमारे A to Z एनिमल्स नेम। तो यदि ये वीडियो आपके लिए हेल्पफुल रही हो, आपको पसंद आई हो, तो बच्चों इसे लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा। जल्दी मिलते हैं अपनी नेक्स्ट वीडियो में। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर।